Conflict with other Christians is hard, but conflict with people who don't share our faith, that can feel even harder. Because suddenly, it's not just about the disagreement, it's how you are being seen or how you're being judged, and whether your response points people to Christ or pushes them further away. So the question for this video is simple. When we're in conflict with non-believers, how should Christians see them? And how should that shape our response? When you're in conflict with someone who doesn't share your faith, something deeper is happening than simply sorting out the problem. According to Peter, our responses become small windows through which others glimpse the character of Christ. Not polished performances, not defensive speeches, but quiet, faithful echoes of his heart. We're not trying to win kind of moments. We're learning to embody the gospel in the way we speak, listen, and respond, with the steady integrity that comes from setting Christ apart as Lord in our heart, long before the mouth opens. That's how our conduct interprets our confession, because sometimes the most persuasive things you can say in a conflict isn't a sentence, it's a posture. Less courtroom and more living witness. Inside the church, there's a shared foundation, but outside the church, you're stepping into a different arena where you may be the only Christian someone will ever have the opportunity to read. Your words, tone, restraint, and listening become the sermon that they are willing to hear. And often they're not reacting to you, they're reacting to a painful story, a stereotype, or a caricature of Christianity that you didn't create. You may be their first chance to meet a believer who shows humility instead of superiority, compassion instead of combativeness, courage without cruelty, or truth without harshness. Here's a workplace example. An email chain spirals. You're accused in front of the whole team, and everything in you wants to fire back quickly and sharply to protect your image. But in that moment, you're writing more than an email. You're shaping a witness. The question isn't just, what do I need to clarify? It's, if my life is a sermon, what does my tone preach? This isn't pressure to perform, it's an opportunity to reflect Christ where his presence may be least expected. Peter's command, which is keep your conduct honorable among the Gentiles, isn't a bland politeness. It's visible faithfulness. So what does honorable conduct look like? Well, restraint when assumptions are made, accuracy when exaggeration would be easier, kindness when irritation feels justified, keeping promises even when others don't, or refusing to weaponize truth. And here's the freeing part, you aren't responsible for the verdict, only the faithfulness. Releasing the verdict frees you to tell the truth in love. Seeds planted in humility often take root in silence, but God handles the fruit. You handle the faithfulness. Before replying, pause just for 5 seconds. Breathe, pray, then speak. There's surprising wisdom in that space. Conflict pulls the heart off center. Motives sneak in. You might be thinking, I need to protect how I look. I need to prove that I'm right, or I need them to understand. That's why Peter says, set apart Christ as Lord in your heart. Before we speak, we settle something deeper. Who am I trying to honor right now? Whose opinion carries the most weight? Well, if we haven't met, my name is Dwight Shuttler. Thanks for walking through this with me. I serve as president of Ambassadors of Reconciliation, where we help people reconcile according to the Bible. So before a hard conversation, try writing one sentence for a purpose. I want to reflect Christ by being honest, patient, and respectful. And here's a heart-engaging moment. If there were one word you'd want your tone to communicate in conflict, what would that be? Drop it in the comments. Naming it helps you to live into it. Well, here's what this looks like when conflict is actually happening. There will be moments when you want to defend yourself fiercely, not because the gospel is at stake, but because your image is. That's when the Spirit shifts you from self-defense to witness. You might ask, what does my response say about Christ right now? When fear rises, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being dismissed, fear of losing influence, or fear driving either harshness or silence, those both short-circuit grace. That's when entrusting yourself to God becomes life-giving. Lord, you see this. I trust you with the outcome. When you want to win, craft the perfect argument to land the final word, but Peter calls you to something deeper, a clear conscience. You can be right with all the facts and wrong in the spirit. Integrity may cost reputation in the moment, but it guards the soul in the long run. And sometimes you'll realize that you overstated something or sharpened a phrase too much. Don't wait. Own that quickly. You might think, I think I overstated that. Let me say that better. That moment may display Christ more than any argument. Here's a simple mid-conversation check. If I aim to impress, I'll press. If I aim to bless, I'll rest. If I aim to win, I'll escalate. If I aim to witness, I'll listen. If I aim to defend my image, I'll grasp. If I entrust myself to God, I'll release. This isn't weakness. This is strength under sovereignty. Courage shaped by Christ and carried by the Spirit. And all of this raises a bigger question. What if the way we define resolution is actually keeping us from reconciliation? If that stirs something in you, the next video matters. Join me for, do we need conflict resolution or reconciliation? Or maybe the answer is both. Because Scripture may be calling us into a more integrated, more transformative way forward. Well, thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.